Hello, this is Ms. DB, and I'm going to go over some directions on your histogram investigation from your folder. So the first part of the worksheet has a review, some information about what a histogram is. You should have already done the 10.2 assignment and have a good idea about making a frequency table and then making your histogram. After that, there is an example here. It's got some hints on how to find a good interval. And then the steps that we have already gone through in order to create a frequency table. Now in your 10.2 worksheet, the intervals are already given for you, so you may want to review what are some good steps to pick a good interval. Alright, so our activity is going to be at this website, and what we're going to do is first use some data that's already there and follow these steps to select the interval and things like that. We'll follow each of these steps, and then we will show the frequency table and make a histogram. And we can change the interval and then look at how the histogram changes, which is really neat about this activity. And then the part 2 is going to be using some data from some runners of a 5K race, and we're going to enter that data in, make a frequency table here in Word, and then use the website to make a histogram. So the website is here. I've already opened it up. You can see that there's already a histogram showing, but that's not the one that we're going to use. And there's all kinds of stuff that you can set. This is where the data has already been entered. And I'm going to change this. They already have some other data here, and one of the data's pieces that they have is the gas mileage. So it automatically updated it for me. We can click on Show Frequency Table, and this is how they chose to make their intervals. Now I'm going to get the worksheet back out so we can find out how we need to change the settings so that we can answer this. So you may want to have this open in 2 windows, or if you're able to look at the questions on one screen or print it, that's another way you can do this. Alright, so here's our steps. Select gas mileage, I did that. Then I'm going to, for the interval size, type in 2. So that's down here. So instead of doing 2.667, I'm just going to use 2. Then update interval. So the steps tell you exactly what to do. Then step 3, leave minimum value. I have to move over to see that. There's the minimum value at 0. Leave maximum as what it is. It's at 16 right now. Step 4, change minimum value of x-axis. Oh, here it is, x-axis to 23, since this is the lowest gas mileage that I have. And set x min. Okay, so it's already changing my histogram up there. Then it says click on Show Frequency Table. I already did that. It was up here, right here. And it will pop up in a different window, so you might have to see if it's hiding, or you might have to select to enable pop-ups in your computer. Okay, so now my frequency ranges, my intervals are nicer. I got from 23 to 25, so 23, 24, 25, and they called frequency hits. There's 7. So our bar, our first bar in our histogram, move over table. I'm trying to move it so we can see. I'm going to click that again. Okay, I don't want to see it right now. I'll just enlarge this. Okay, move over frequency table. There, I closed it. Our first one went up to 7. So on our y-axis, it goes to 7. Now these are going up every 4 units, so it might be a little hard to show that. Then my next frequency from 25 to 27, which they didn't write every interval down here, they couldn't get that all in, goes up to 9, and this red bar goes to 9, and so on. You see sometimes there's blank spaces. That's because the frequency at that interval was 0. So yours should look very similar to this if you've set everything up correctly. and then you're going to answer the questions that are on the worksheet. And if it tells you, like in question 4, to change the interval to 3, then that was right here. You can change the interval sizes. And then click Update Interval. And I didn't change my max or min or anything, so all that changed now was my interval changed. And that frequency chart changed as well. If I change it to, like, say 4, and then click on Update Interval, see the bars get wider, but also things look different. Let me go back to 2. At an interval of 2, the highest one was right here, which was the interval from 27 to 29. When you make your intervals very wide, it's hard to see where the greatest frequency is, because things get kind of spread out. I mean, you can even make really big bars. It doesn't tell you as much about the data when you use really big bars. So you're going to do some different things and try to figure out what would be the best interval for this data. Then you'll go back to your worksheet, you'll answer all those questions, and then when you get to part 2, I want to go to that now. So we are going to go to Select Data Set and choose My Data. Okay, so let's close this. Let's go to My Data. Oh, one more second before I do this. Did you have to take a screenshot? No, not for that one. For the second part, you'll have to take a screenshot. Okay, now we have to clear the data because down here there's going to be some stuff. So I need to clear that. All right, now it's clear. And I can update and there'll be nothing there. So now you're going to enter here the same things as from your worksheet. So your worksheet had data right here. So here's our data. And you just put one on each row, 19, 25, 23, 29, etc. We'll go here. Now, before you do that, or while you're doing it, let's fill in our frequency table here. Now you can enter it into the Shoulder site because it's going to do a frequency table for you. And then you can just copy in what you get. So 32, 30, 21, 22, 24, and put all of these in there. .28, 25, only takes a second. And there they are. Now I can update my data. All right, it automatically changed my histogram up here, but the intervals are not necessarily what I want. So if you go back here to the part 2 directions, we did step 3, we did step 4, step 5 automatically showed, oh, step 5 is the frequency table, that's up here and over. And I don't love the decimal points, so I'm going to change my intervals and my minimum and my maximum so that I don't have these kind of crazy looking numbers. So you can change this to what you think is the best. And you can try different things. Maximum on the Y, maybe I need to go higher, I don't know. Let's change our minimum X value to 18. Let's see how that looks now. And then maybe you decided that I need to change this to an interval size of 3. Or you get to pick what you want. You can do decimal values of your interval if you want to do like 1.5 or something. It's really up to you what you think your best intervals would be. So you can work with that. This is just to show the frequency. So if you're going to have frequencies higher than 4, you would need to change this. And the minimum value on the x-axis, I set it to 18 because that was my lowest data point. Or was my lowest data point 19? You could set it to 19 because that's actually your lowest data point. And you can give it a better title than this. Oh, it says it has to be less than 19. They want it to be less than the minimum value used. Okay, so that's how you're going to, and then answer some questions. And then when you're done with this, you're going to take a screenshot of your results of your histogram that you've made. And you can do that with a snipping tool of some sort. Or you can just take a screenshot of your whole thing and then copy it and paste it into the worksheet. That's probably the best way to do that. And then, oh, the frequency table. Let me put that in there too. When you're happy with the way your frequency table looks, then you'll fill in from the worksheet, you can fill that in too. So if you decided that this was the interval you wanted, then you can now match up the intervals on this column and the frequency, which they call hits, on that column. But you might have changed you might have decided interval size of a different size would be best. And then I'll paste my screenshot down here. And there you go. That's how you're going to complete this assignment. If you have any questions, please let me know. Remember that I have office hours and I'm in the ASC. If you have any questions, you can come and I can help you out. Thanks a lot and have